Ever been in a meeting where someone hesitates to share a bold idea? That moment of silence isn't just awkward. It's a missed opportunity for innovation. Today, we're talking about how emotionally intelligent leaders transform those silences into breakthroughs. Let's start with a truth bomb. Creativity thrives where people feel safe, valued, and heard. But how do you build that environment? Emotional intelligence (EQ) is the secret weapon of leaders who inspire innovation. EQ isn't just about being nice. It's about fostering self-awareness, empathy, and emotional regulation to drive collaboration and creativity. A successful meeting is when everyone participates. Early in my career, I led meetings that seemed like I was running the show, presenting data and explaining everything from my perspective. Most of these meetings were virtual after the COVID pandemic, and I often wondered how to interpret the silence. Was it disinterest or the fear of speaking up? Neither is ideal, so I began changing the dynamic by allocating time for others to present their findings, asking specific team members for their input, and creating a culture where everyone's voice mattered. By encouraging participation and showing appreciation for those who spoke up, we moved past the fear of rejection and began experimenting with ideas often as pilots. This shift led to greater collaboration and more objective analysis of our data as staff members started challenging our assumptions. Google's Project Aristotle finds that psychological safety is the number one trait of high-performing teams. Emotionally intelligent leaders create this by design. One way of fostering psychological safety is to create small, focused groups with the genuine intention of welcoming new ideas. These groups consist of actual participants involved in the process. Of course, challenges arise during these discussions, especially when we identify inefficiencies or issues. But adding a couple of process improvement consultants to the group provides an invaluable objective perspective. Their questions help us form a clearer plan for resolving issues. We prioritize each intervention in a way that targets specific stages of the process. This approach eliminates fear of failure because everyone's input is valued and the focus is on relieving team dissatisfaction. It's a process of constant refinement, with everyone meeting frequently to ensure alignment and progress. Here's your playbook to foster innovation through EQ. Number 1. Foster psychological safety. Although failure may feel uncomfortable, embarrassing, or like a waste, it's essential to normalize it as part of the innovation process. Let me share an example. We had significant instrument issues in the operating room. To track these problems in real time, we rolled out a QR code system where nurses could document issues as they arose. Despite strong buy-in from both the nursing and sterile processing teams, the project faced challenges. Nurses started losing faith in the process as issues recurred, and eventually the staff from the instrument team resigned. The project stalled. While the intention was great, we learned that having only one sterile processing staff retrieving the data and solving them was unsustainable. To improve, we need routine oversight and follow-up from nursing and sterile processing departments. This experience showed us that, though the QR code system was feasible, it requires continuous involvement and support. Without learning from this failure, any future projects would likely fail as well. Number 2. Invite diverse perspectives. Ask, what's the wildest solution we haven't considered? EQ leaders actively seek dissent and challenge the status quo. Sometimes the wildest solution isn't entirely new. It's about recycling the idea and improving existing processes. For instance, we noticed the number of instrument trays didn't align with the actual needs of our surgeries. Instead of just replicating them without question, we asked a few medical students to track which instruments were used during surgeries. After 6 weeks of observation, we found that over 30% of the instruments in our trays were rarely used, leading to unnecessary costs. While this method was manual and labor-intensive, it taught us a valuable lesson. Now we're exploring technology that could automate this process, capturing images of the instruments and logging them for analysis, but this requires significant investment and development. 3. Lead with empathy. Read the room. If someone's quiet, inform them. Your insights matter. What's on your mind? In our instrument improvement projects, we knew there was a lot of pressure on the team. They were feeling the weight of constant scrutiny, and it was affecting their participation. At one point, we realized that staff were not responding to emails, and instrument issues were not followed up. Instead of pushing them harder, we invited them for regular check-ins. We reassured them that their input was vital to solving the problems, and over time, their trust and contribution grew. Number 4. Feedback that fuels growth. How would you feel if someone told you that won't work when you present your ideas? Now imagine being part of a team that responds with, "What if we," guiding your ideas forward without shutting them down. When designing processes that involve multiple teams, such as nursing and sterile processing, it's crucial that the proposed workflows are not only ideal but also mutually agreed upon and practical for both parties. Clear communication and alignment are key. Both teams need to have input in the creation of the workflow to ensure that expectations are aligned. Through discussions and feedback sessions, each side can express concerns, identify challenges, and come to a solution that meets everyone's needs. A collaborative approach helps prevent misunderstandings and ensures that both nursing and sterile processing feel that their needs and workflows are taken into account, fostering a productive and cooperative environment. Your team's creativity is a seed. It needs the right soil to grow. Water it with trust, prune with empathy, and watch innovation bloom, ready to lead the charge. Drop your number one EQ tip below and let's revolutionize leadership together.